What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of NFL Turf Talk. Today, we are breaking down the NFC West division. The 49ers, are they getting too old to compete for this division, Scotty? Are they too banged up to compete for this division? The Rams have issues with Matthew Stafford's health early on in camp. Does it leave the door open for another team or two to sneak up and take a hold of this NFC West? Scotty will tell you why that might be a possibility later on today's show. We're also going to group these teams into our NFL tier rankings as we've done with every other division we've broken down. And of course, we will wrap it up if you've been following along with the divisional fantasy draft and post those to all socials next week so you guys can vote on them. I'm one half of your host, Dylan Davis. To my left, my faithful co-host, Scotty. And this is recording on the DSM Media Twitter channel and the DSM Turf Talk YouTube channel. So make sure to follow, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. My man, happy Friday. Football season is just around the corner. Week 3 of the preseason is wrapping up. What is going on?
Yes, sir. I'm excited for it. Obviously, we'll get a week off from football action next week, and then we'll get to the real stuff the following. So it's creeping up on us, man. But finally is what I'll say, because I'm just ready to have some quality stuff to bet on, man. Baseball's been getting on my nerves a little bit betting wise. And it's not just betting, man. That sounds like but
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean, man. Football is just so much. It's just so much more serious. Like each game means so much week to week for all of these teams. It's not like you can just drop, week 1 and shit's gonna be okay. Like no, the Eagles play the fucking Cowboys week 1, division rival, division standings in the mix from the jump, and it's like that for a lot of teams this year. So, yeah, man, I'm just excited to get to some serious ball. There's nothing like NFL, man. I'm trying to think through the sports right now, like where one match or game just means so much towards college football, but it's football nonetheless. Like it's always regardless. Football. Yeah, where it just means more. So, I'm you can tell I'm super amped for it. I'm amped for college football next week. So
this Saturday, brother. This Saturday,
this Saturday, yeah. See, I'm looking forward to next week.
Always weird. I thought
looking at Texas and Ohio State next week. That's when it's like clicking in my head. But yeah, I got
that. Is week 1 next Saturday. You have a lot of top 25 ranked matchups. A lot of good games next week in that long ass slate. But this week there's a handful of games starting at noon. But there is a ranked matchup in Dublin between Iowa State and Kansas State to kick off the season. So that'll be fun to look at. But let's look at this NFC West division, man, because a couple 2-3 years ago, this was the division in football, right? Like in terms of just overall competitiveness, 1 through 4. I mean, it's not that long ago the Arizona Cardinals started off 10-1 or 11-0 one season under Kyler Murray, right? And you have the San Francisco 49ers getting to multiple Super Bowl appearances with that stacked roster. Matthew Stafford gets traded to the Rams. They win a Super Bowl a few short years ago. They're in Super Bowl contention right now. The Seahawks had a bounce back year last year under Geno Smith. They trade for Sam Darnold, Cooper Kupp. A lot of movement going on within this division. Devontae Adams is a Ram now, replacing Cooper Kupp in that Rams offense next to Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
But last year, 10-7 won it with LA. 10-7 followed that with Seattle. Cardinals were 8-9. San Fran injured, finished 6-11 in last place. It's not the division we've been accustomed to. Now, it was a pretty tight race, obviously, by the numbers, but in terms of this division puts out a lot of playoff contenders, Super Bowl contenders. We didn't quite get that last year, even though a lot of people thought the Rams could certainly be in that conversation, which they took the Eagles to the wire, the toughest opponent over that Super Bowl run for Philly. Let's start in the basement. Let's start with San Francisco, because just 2 years ago, this was the team, right? This was the team battling with the Eagles 3 years ago in the NFC Championship. And then they get there the following year, and that roster looks phenomenal. Yeah. Then you get to this year. They're a little older. They've had some key departures defensively. Deebo Samuel leaves, goes to Washington. And then you look at that wide receiver room. Juwan Jennings banged up. Don't know what's going to go on with him to start the year. Brandon Ayuk really banged up.
Yeah.
Leaves you Ricky Pearsall. They just traded for Sky Moore with KC.
Gunshot Ricky, wide receiver 1.
Yeah. CMC with all the injury concerns, and then you get to the biggest problem for me. It's what your biggest problem has been with this team for a while now, and that's the quarterback. So, Mr. Brock Purdy, sorry, Terry, if you're listening, cover your ears. What do you look like with this roster? I am very, very interested to see what San Francisco does this year. This defense, man, you still have Nick Bosa. They had a top 11 pick, I think, that they invested in the defensive line with, and you still obviously have probably the game's best linebacker in Fred Warner. But outside of that, they've lost a ton on that side of the ball. They're not as dangerous. They're not as scary. What do you make of the San Francisco 49ers this year? And are they leaving the door open for some of those other teams to continue to stay above them as they did last year?
Yeah, I think so, man. And for me, man, the 49ers, I mean, you hit on Brock Purdy, and I think he is maybe second on my list as far as, like, I don't want to use the term importance, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe it is importance. But I'm looking at CMC, man, and his health. And we know what CMC can do at his peak or in his prime when he is healthy. We know the multi-dimensional player that he can be. We know that an offense can be built around CMC when he is playing and healthy like he's supposed to be. The problem is the last couple of seasons, it just hasn't played out that way. And then what you're looking at when you start taking away some of these names. So let's say CMC is out again at some point this season with injury. Then you go over to Ayuk, who's coming off, I believe it's a torn ACL, a torn Achilles maybe last season. I can't remember exactly what it was, but nonetheless, it was a leg injury. Let's see how he recovers and what he even looks like.
This from 11 days ago on ESPN. Head coach Kyle Shanahan said Monday that week 6 could be a realistic target for Ayuk. And it was an ACL last year.
Interesting. And obviously that's who you would like pencil in as their best wide receiver, but what does he look like after injuries? Sometimes they come back better. Sometimes they look like a shell of themselves. And to be fair, man, like just while we're talking about Ayuk, he's not a guy that seems like he has the greatest attitude. I'm not talking about his work ethic. I just remember the contract situations. How hard is he willing to work to get back out on that field and fulfill that contract for them after the negotiations they had? George Kittle,
what position are they in by week 6?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great point as well with Ricky Pearsall leading the way. I do like Juwan Jennings. Is he wide receiver 1? Like, fuck no. Like maybe wide receiver 2 on a good day, but no. And then you go to George Kittle. Obviously, he's still extremely talented. He's still a top 3 tight end for my money. But when does he start to take the downturn? Maybe it's not this year. I'm not saying that. It's just Travis Kelce, it happened overnight. Maybe it was Taylor Swift. It happened overnight. So you can see how fast, especially a big bodied player, can decline at that age. So we'll see what he's on. I'm not saying that George Kittle is going over the edge this year. I'm just saying it's a possibility with his age. Then you lump that in with CMC, his age, injury concerns year to year. Then you throw in the Brock Purdy, the card or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, we're gonna find out now. That's the way I'll put it. I don't believe in him as a quarterback. It's nothing to be disrespectful to him personally. It's more against 49ers fans and national media, the way they talked him up after taking a stacked team. It's just funny the way he's talked about versus a Jalen Hurts per se, right?
Why do you, if people are listening that don't watch Faithful Fanatics, they probably wonder why we have like so much angst towards other quarterbacks and why we're always relating it to the team behind us on the wall.
It's Jalen Hurts, though. I mean, it's the way he's talked about.
It's the way people talk about these guys that have a flash in the pan season with another stacked roster, and then
so I give it back,
right, and then talk about the other guy. That's why, if you're curious listening out there, why we compare it to that, it's
Brock Purdy is not carrying a roster, bro. Like you can argue with a wall whether or not Jalen Hurts will do it. Brock Purdy is not.
No.
So CMC better be healthy. The offense better be able to be built around him this season. Because I'll even throw this in, man. They let Mason go. They let Elijah Mitchell go. Elijah Mitchell's been beat up.
Isaac Guerrero is the backup.
Yeah, you don't have a secure backup behind CMC as well, which you would think maybe you would invest a little bit more into a backup just for that reason.
Yeah,
but
I think San Fran did a horrible job this offseason. And
I do
obviously you and
too.
I have had thoughts
Yeah.
on Debo as just a prototypical wide receiver in the past, but you
Yeah.
lose Debo Samuel. And the idea of Debo Samuel with Brandon Ayuk was always good. It was always dangerous in a sense, right? And you add in CMC and Kittle, and that offense is legit.
And Debo can run the football a little bit, right? Big
You
body
lose
guy.
Debo, you don't have Ayuk. You didn't trading for Sky Moore recently, bro. Like that's the move. DeMarcus Robinson suspended to start the year.
Trading for Bryce Huff.
Yeah. Like I'll tell you this. If the 49ers are in playoff contention this year, or hell, leading the division in double-digit weeks, like if they're in week 12 and they're winning the division, Christian McCaffrey's an MVP conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how good and explosive and healthy he will be if San Fran is winning this division come later on in the season. Let me ask you this, fantasy football, we try to wrinkle it in every once in a while. I got my draft tonight. What do you do with Christian McCaffrey? Because the idea of him, especially in an offense that's looking weak, is a top 3 pick, no?
Yeah.
The idea, how much he's going to touch the ball, what he can do with the ball in his hands, what he's done in previous years, the idea of Christian McCaffrey. But, dude, I've had him so many times. I'm so tired of spending my first-round pick on a dude that misses 10-plus weeks.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch him, quite honestly, man, because you have to take him within, like, the first 5 picks.
Yeah. What if he slips? What if he slips? Like, so put it this way. I have the 8th pick tonight. If he slips to 8, and let's say like Saquon, Bijan, Henry, Chase, Jettas are gone. CD's gone. Those 7 are gone.
I'm just looking at who did I get, because I had the 8th pick in one draft and I had the 9th pick in another recently. So. Okay, so in one of them, I went Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's what I was going to say. It does depend, like PPR, how many wide receivers you have rostered.
Non-PPR, and my league, it's a family league, was created a long time ago. Distance adds points for touchdowns. So the longer the touchdown, it adds bonus points to the touchdown as well. Non-PPR, obviously every 10 yards is a point. So,
at 8, I mean, yeah, I would take him at 8. Like I would take him at 8. I think that would be a good spot, and that would be maybe the starting point of where I would take him. It's, if you're looking for running back, Bijan, Gibbs, Saquon's up there. Jacobs is like a 2nd round, 3rd round pick. I'm just trying to think through it. But yeah, to that point, man, it just speaks to the uncertainty around CMC.
Let me reel this back in to connect the fantasy and CMC to this Niners team before we move on.
Yeah.
With what we're talking about, do you take them high in fantasy, right? Because you're going to need them to produce. They need them to produce. With the lack of weapons and the injuries they have on the outside at the skill position, does that scare you? Can teams just key in on the rushing attack now of San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan's offense because Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings are their 2 threats on the outside?
It's possible for sure. It depends on those guys, right? Like if Ricky Pearsall comes back out this year and looks like a guy, then maybe not as much, right? And then you get Ayuk back week 6 and it doesn't look as bad.
Right.
I think Jawan Jennings is a big piece there just because he does have that chemistry with Brock Purdy. I only know this because I've had Jawan Jennings in fantasy football the last couple of years on different teams. So I've gotten to see different streaks by him. He gets very streaky as big games in a row. And I think he could help them out early on, but good
thing I'm on Twitter right now, 2 minutes ago from Adam Schefter. Commanders are trading running back Brian Robinson to the 49ers in exchange for a 2026 6th round draft pick.
Interesting. That is a good move. That is a good move by the 49ers, quite honestly. Brian Robinson's a very physical runner. He's a lot different than CMC. And you know what, man? He's not like this world beater running back, but I'm glad he's gone from the division too. Just gonna throw that out there. I think he was a good player for the Commanders, quite honestly. Maybe a little bit underrated, but in once again, not talking about a top 15 back or anything like that, but he was solid. That's a good quality backup for CMC, but does that speak to concerns? Right. Maybe not. Maybe they're just being overly cautious like we thought they should have been in the first place, but interesting nonetheless. Why not just swap Debo and Brian Robinson in the first place? Whatever, though.
Fair point, man. Let's transition over to the division winner of last year.
Yeah.
And that is the Los Angeles Rams, who people had in Super Bowl talks. Yeah. Now, I forget what you had sent me. When we get to the tiers, we can talk about it. We can adjust. I had put them where I believe they are compared to where people think they are. Obviously, losing Cooper Kupp stings. When you replace Cooper Kupp with Devontae Adams, might not sting as much, Scotty. That offense looks legit again. Devontae Adams, Puka, Kyron Williams. You still have Tyler Higbee there. It's all going to come down to the health of Matthew Stafford. Now, they did bring in Jimmy Garoppolo as a backup. So a game manager, which I don't know if you technically want a game manager with those weapons, but he has enough help where if Stafford is down for a couple weeks, they could win ball games. It's going to come down to that young defense that really took a step left, that really stepped up at the end of last year. Obviously, headlining with Jared Verse on the end. Talked a lot of stuff heading into that snow game in the divisional round. We'll see what that defense looks like. Thoughts on the Rams? Is this the Rams division? How worried are you for the aging and health of Matthew Stafford?
I'm actually fairly worried, and it's not even the fact that he's starting with concerns to the season. I would be concerned just in general, his age and his track record. Quite honestly, you look at their record last season. Why was it like that, right? It's because he had missed some time last year, and it tends to happen with Matthew Stafford, especially lately in his career. To answer your question, like, is this the Rams division? I think by default, yes, if Matthew Stafford is healthy, if he's the starting quarterback for the Rams, I would probably take them over any other team in this division.
Right.
I do wonder if they have gotten a little overrated. They played the Eagles in the playoffs. They played them really tough, but it was in a fucking blizzard, and you can take that both ways, right? Like you can say it was in a blizzard, that should be at a disadvantage to the Rams, and they played really well, or you could just say it's a disadvantage to both teams, and you're not really seeing this matchup play out.
It's a shame that we didn't have another opportunity to watch those two teams last year, not in a blizzard.
In their own building.
Yeah, so it's a shame. Like, we don't know what would have happened because it was snowing, Scott, right? Like,
like I get it. They finished the season strong last year.
You won 10 games, brother.
I just wonder if they get a little overhyped just because they played the Eagles.
Correct, Mundo.
That asterisk, that accolade, played the Eagles tough on that one Super Bowl year for the Eagles. Played them tough. Played them the toughest. Yeah. But no, I do like the Rams. I like what they did in the offseason. You bring in Devontae Adams, to your point, better than what Cooper Kupp is right now.
Right now, yes.
You throw him on the opposite side of Puka Nacua, who is he's elevating right now. Yeah, he's ascending. And I think you have a good mix there. Then you throw in Kyron Williams, which had a great season last year. Obviously, just needs to clean up the fumbling a bit, but he's a very, very good running back. They took a rookie tight end in the second round. They didn't have a first round pick. they traded those a while back, but they got this Ferguson guy, this tight end in the second round, I believe it was. So another addition to the offense. And the defense was young, so they should take another step forward this year. So to that point, maybe I am sleeping on their defense a little bit when I'm speaking on them, because I know some Rams fans that are very, very excited about their defense, and more specifically that front seven led by Jared Verse. So, yeah, I'll be fair to the Rams and say that this is their division. But it is the big asterisk mark of Matthew Stafford. And that goes for a lot of teams. It just, you have to emphasize it with Matthew Stafford because of the track record.
Right.
So, yeah, I feel you. Super Bowl contender. We put them in the playoffs, obviously, just because that's for sure. In the NFC, they would be like right
Correct.
There. They're right
there.
They're
one of the teams. They're one of the two-ish teams, maybe three. Probably the Eagles and them right now in the NFC that you could see fighting for the Super Bowl. In terms of like, I look at this team, can they win the Super Bowl? I would not pick them over any AFC Super Bowl contender I have.
Yeah.
We had the Lions in that conversation as well,
I
just
agree.
because of previous years, but we'll see. Let's get to Seattle, man.
The Lions and the Rams, you know what I mean? Like, I think I'd pick the Lions.
I think
They'd be
so,
playing indoors no matter what, though.
But I think they played very tough last year in that game that Stafford returned to Detroit. And then obviously, you know, the Rams win a game and play us tough, and the Lions lose to a rookie at home after a bye week. So we'll see, man. But let's look at the Seattle team. Yeah. I think this is the most interesting team in the division to me, because are they better? And the reason they just did a lot of swapping places to me on the offensive side of the ball. So you go out, you get Sam Darnold, had an excellent year last year. You and I were not about to put him in the MVP conversation the way that other people were, but still, nonetheless, excellent year. But Geno Smith also had an excellent year. Maybe not to the level of Sam Darnold in Minnesota, but Geno Smith was very good. So Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, who do you prefer, right? Yeah. They move on from DK Metcalf. DK goes to Pittsburgh. Well, they bring in Cooper Kupp. Well, Cooper Kupp at this point of his career or DK Metcalf? They're good on paper. Sam Darnold, Kenneth Walker with Charbonnet, JSN, Cooper Kupp. They have weapons offensively. They are good on paper. But they were pretty good on paper last year as well.
Yeah.
So are they a better football team? They did go out and get DeMarcus Lawrence.
A better football team. I'll put it this way. I do think that Sam Darnold could be better for them than what Geno was. Just, you know, where Geno's at in his career versus what Sam Darnold looked like last year in Minnesota. He did have Justin Jefferson. He did have Jordan Addison out there in Minnesota. They got some weapons, but I mean, JSN, he's a route technician. He can get open. He should have some fun with him. Cooper Kupp and DK, that's where the discrepancy comes in for me, because Cooper Kupp is not better than DK Metcalf at this point in his career. And the difference of style between DK and a guy like JSN, I think just creates mismatches a lot easier than Cooper Kupp, who is – they're not the same. JSN is probably a lot quicker. Maybe JSN is just a better version. He's a little bit smaller than Coop. But they kind of operate similarly. Like, yeah. I don't know. I view JSN as a lot of slot receiving. Like, and maybe I'm wrong for that. You call me out in the comments if I am incorrect in that. But that's just my perception of him. Quick, good at route running. That just looks like an inside type of wide receiver. And Cooper Kupp is just very similar. So where is the outside threat? Right. The deep ball, right? Like, where does that come into play?
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
No. You know what I mean? Like, no. We watched that show way too many times. Torrey Horton, I am not familiar.
Beyond me, brother. Jake Bobo?
22 years old. Is he a rookie? No. Yeah, he's a rookie. So Torrey Horton, when was he taken? I would like to just know, like, what caliber player we're looking at.
Round 5, pick 1.
Okay, and he's wide receiver 3 right now. So, no offense to him. I mean, we'll have to wait out on that. So to say they're better, I can't go that far, but I will say the defense is legit. Mike McDonald is a defensive-minded head coach, so that is where their calling is going to be when it comes to this team. And I do like what they did defensively. So maybe. Are they better? Like, are they? You know what I mean? Like, DeMarcus Lawrence, you get Shaq Griffin back. You bring in Imanori, the safety we wanted in the second round. I don't know if you remember him. I believe he's a safety out of South Carolina, and they took him at the beginning of the second round. So they added some talent to the defensive group. Re-signed Jonathan Hankins, J.R. Reed, and then Ernest Jones. Their defense could be good, man. I'm just looking at their corners. Tyreek Woolen, Devin Witherspoon.
Yeah.
Julian Love at safety.
Yeah,
It's been pretty solid
defense
for them.
their defense was pretty good last year too.
Yeah, so it's hard to say. It's hard to say, man.
They were
The Seahawks are
they were a
interesting.
10-win team last year. Same with
They're
the
interesting.
Rams. They're better, right? Sam Darnold is an upgrade to Geno Smith in my money.
Yeah. It's really the
Cooper
DK
Kupp's
point
a little bit of a
back.
downgrade from DK Metcalf at this point. It's just kind of a balancing act of like you slightly upgraded here, you swapped out here, and it's like, where do we just meet in the middle? Are we the same kind of product? So it'll be interesting to see what Seattle does.
Are they just a run the football team and play stiff defense? Like, do they turn into that? Because
I think that's what Sam Darnold needs, bro. Like, I don't think Sam Darnold doesn't need to be trying to put up the numbers that they did in Minnesota.
Exactly.
You run the football with those two workhorses, and you let him operate as a game manager and play action with Cooper Kupp and JSN and those guys, and see what happens with that defense. So. Yeah, I think that's the ticket for Seattle. It'll be interesting because, like I said, I agree with you. Like the Rams are very good on paper offensively. Young defense, played very well at the end of last year. Was Philly's toughest test in the postseason by far. A little overhyped for my money. San Fran, aging, injured, worse. And then we get to this team. The Arizona Cardinals. 8-9 last year. Yeah. Not nearly as bad as I remember of a football team.
Right.
Not nearly as bad. You look at this offense. Kyler's back, obviously. James Conner. Marvin Harrison Jr. gets in the year 2. Zay Jones. Trey McBride's a top 5 tight end, top 3 tight end right now. It's that defense, man. When we get to this defense, how improved are they, right? They go out and obviously get Josh Sweat from us. You have a Calais Campbell who obviously is aging, but still. Dalvin Tomlinson's nice. Zaven Collins at the linebacker position. Budda Baker at the back end in the secondary. Tell me why the Arizona Cardinals could have a chance to compete within this division. Because like I said, the winner was 10-7 last year. This team was 8-9. Yeah. They weren't too far off from competing in week 18.
Yeah, no, not at all. I think for me, man, looking at this roster and looking at what Jonathan Gannon's doing, and he was kind of annoying when he left, right? And the way it all played out, and we had a little bit of a chip on our shoulder with Jonathan Gannon. I've kind of moved past it. We win the Super Bowl after him, and I throw all that out the window. Good for him that he got a head coaching opportunity and now leads this Cardinals team, but. What I will say is that it feels like he took a little bit of Philadelphia and what they do with him. And what I mean by that is building one through your trenches. The amount of additions they made to their defensive line this offseason is actually ridiculous, but it shows what Jonathan Gannon is really trying to do out there in Arizona. Create a stiff defense, and then you got a mobile quarterback on offense with a bruising running back. You got a go-to tight end that can be a number 1 option. And then you have Marvin Harrison in sophomore season who should blossom this year, right? If he is who we thought he was coming out of college, he should blossom this year. It is kind of a make or break season for Kyler Murray in a sense, so he should have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. But it comes back to that defense. You mentioned the additions, Joshua, Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson. Davis Gaither, the linebacker. They also added Walter Nolan, the rookie defensive tackle, which was like a top 20 pick in the draft. So they're investing, man. And I like what they're doing. They re-signed Kelvin Beachum, the offensive tackle. So you shore up that protection for Kyler Murray as well. And there is part of me, man, just with the ascension, right? You think about the defense, they added veteran presence. They have Budda Baker in the secondary to lead that group. The defense is good. The offense, where can they grow? And I think they have the pieces on offense that they can grow with, those being the Trey McBrides and the Marvin Harrison Jr.'s of the world. So I think there is a world, man. And this probably goes for Seattle too. There is a world where, Matthew Stafford in and out of the Rams lineup, whatever the case may be there, if they're not fulfilling their potential, I think the Cardinals could compete for the division. You mentioned it. maybe, in our minds had a bad season last year. They were 8-9. So if that's a bad
That's what
season,
I'm saying. I remember, like,
look like?
I kind of look back on this team like, I don't know what I thought they were last year, but
Right.
6 wins in that ballpark.
Right.
And then I looked and I'm like, oh, they were a 500 team, and this division didn't blow anyone out of the water.
And they'll get what, the third place schedule? Were they third place last year?
Yes.
Yeah, third in NFC West. So they'll get the third place schedule as well. I think that matters.
Well, let me
right?
tell you how they open up.
Schedule.
Let me tell you how they open up the season. New Orleans, Carolina, at San Fran, which will be an interesting game. Home versus Seattle, Tennessee, Indianapolis. So the first 6 weeks of the season, in there you play the Saints, the Panthers, the Titans, and the Colts, with 2 division rivals in there, in the Niners and Seahawks. So there is an opportunity, 4-2, somewhere in that ballpark for the Cardinals to start the season.
Yeah, they got the Cowboys. San Fran's in the division. Jacksonville, Tampa Bay.
It gets a little bumpy towards the end in the second after the bye week.
It's just
at Dallas.
What are the Bengals this year? Is that a tough game, or is their defense just going to roll?
Well, especially by week 17. Like, right? I mean, the Bengals could be out of it at that point.
They got the Texans, Bucks. They play the NFC South, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's on their schedule, the NFC South. So, yeah, I think they have a chance, man. I'm not going to hype them up too much. They're not my favorite, like, underrated team or, overlooked team coming into this season. But between them and the Seahawks, I would not be surprised if one of those 2 teams wins the division.
Interesting, dude. It's going to be an interesting division to keep an eye on this year, because I don't think it's nearly as like stacked with like playoff contenders as we've been accustomed to. Like 3 teams from the West could make the playoffs, but you never know right now.
Is there any part of you that feels like we're sleeping on the 49ers at all? Like, are we disrespecting it? Like, any part of you feel that way?
I look at this roster, bro, and I just don't see a world. I don't like. You know how, and this is on like an even lower level. You know how I get frustrated when people build up the weapons in Green Bay? They're like, oh, Jordan, and it's like Jaden Reed. Yeah. Like, what am I supposed to make of these weapons until Brandon Ayuk comes back? If he comes back in the middle of the season, obviously Kittle and CMC, like obviously like that's awesome. But Jawan Jennings, Sky Moore, and Ricky Pearsall as 3 wide receivers, that's not scaring me and you in the secondary.
Yeah.
And then defensively, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, you got the 2 anchors. There's little to no help around the rest of this defense anymore for a unit that was arguably the best in the league 2-3 years ago. Yeah. And all I see is question marks and suspended and out on this roster right now. They're injured, they're old, and they just simply don't have the quarterback to carry the team for me. So if I am wrong and this team wins 11 to 12 games and wins the NFC West, maybe we should cancel Turf Talk.
I mean, that's a good way to put it. I'll eat crow if the 49ers win their division after letting
the only
thing
I didn't take into account,
Charvarius Ward walk in the offseason.
The only thing I didn't take into account is the 4th place schedule.
Yeah.
And if I may, before we get into the tier rankings, see, this is where things could get interesting and I may eat some crow. Because I'm looking here. Now, obviously, they got to play their division. So you're going to have the Rams twice and Seattle twice and that Arizona team twice, right? But outside of that, they play the Saints. They play Jacksonville at home. They play the Falcons at home, at Tampa, at Houston, Giants, Panthers, Browns, Titans, Colts, Bears at home. They play nobody outside of their division and the Texans and Bucks. That is their schedule. So, fuck, man. I mean, maybe they do get to 10 or 11 wins. Even as that roster that I just spoke about, man, like The Browns, the Panthers, the Saints, the Titans, the Bears at home, the Jags at home, the Falcons at home. They're not losing those games.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know if they're that bad, Scotty.
Not the Saints, but I guess the way I look at it, man, is like, yeah, I get, like, even if they win all of their out of division games, then yeah, it'll come down to that and how they perform it, if they can split with like the Cardinals and Seahawks, stuff like that. I don't know. I guess I just have to see it to believe it, man. I don't know. I think there's like the schedule is what it is, and like it does matter, fourth place, third place schedule, like it all does matter. But what if the Falcons are just better this year? You know, and I'm using them as an example. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see, man. It's just when you watch like Dre Greenlaw, Hargrave, Ward, Hufanga, Debo, all leave the roster in one offseason. It's just interesting, but it could open up opportunity for youth, which can be a good thing sometimes. So we'll see. We'll see for sure.
My bad. The ESPN website is tweaking right now, I guess, since the Brian Robinson trade, because my computer screen just went from the Niners depth chart to only Brian Robinson on the depth chart.
Yeah, I peeped that myself.
So as we get into this fantasy draft, I'm going to have to really dig into my memory here for who's on that team. But before we get to that, let's see where these teams stack up and where we put them in the rest of the NFL tier rankings here. As you can see, the first line, we did not add to the Super Bowl champions line. Can the Los Angeles Rams get there? Yeah, I think so. I think if Matthew Stafford proves that he can stay healthy and continue to sling it at a high level, Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua are a dangerous duo, and that young defense continues to play well. Yeah, they're one of the best teams in the NFC. They're already one of the best teams in the NFC. I think that's just a testament to how weak the NFC is right now. So I had the Rams. We have the Rams, in playoff contenders with an opportunity to ascend up to the highest level. We have the Seahawks as playoff contenders. I don't know if they're much better than they were last year. They were 10-7. I think their quarterback is better than what they had last year. Their defense is fine, can get them to the postseason potentially in a weak NFC. The Niners, again, we could be eating crow simply because of that schedule. We don't know yet. No man's land. And no man's land, I mean, sure, they could be better than last year because they only won, 6 games last year, so we could have put them in that category. But this is a team that we're not talking about the young Panthers or the Bears. We're talking about a team that was vying for a Super Bowl just a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So this is a team that shouldn't just be better than last year. They should be in playoff contention. I don't think they are. I don't like their quarterback. I haven't since he took over the job and it got all the hype. The defense is not good, I don't believe, on paper. They're stuck in no man's land for me. And the Cardinals, very interesting team because we had put them in better than last year, not realizing they were basically a 500 team. So in order for them to be better than last year, they got to get to basically 10 wins, essentially. I mean, 9-8 technically would be better, but can this team get to 10 wins? That would put them in play. They're an interesting level of better than last year, no man's land, and playoff contenders. We'll see what this Cardinals team is. Scotty thinks they have a chance to compete for this division. It'll be fun if they do, because that means this division, it's more than likely going to be a 3 or 4 headed race heading into the latter part of the season. But that's where they match up. And I'm going to have to continue to shrink those playoff contender logos because we're not going to have much room when we finish these last 2 divisions next week.
Can Kyler compete to be the best quarterback in the division? That's something I'm going to keep my eye on this year.
Yeah, I mean, Stafford should be, right? If healthy, Stafford is and should be. But if Stafford's hurt, should Kyler be better than Sam Darnold? Should Kyler be better than Brock Purdy?
He should.
And I think the expectations a couple years ago were that, yes, he definitely should be, compared to where those 2 guys were, respectively. So, yeah, I agree with you, man.
Matthew Stafford, 37 years old, man.
Yeah, dude. Like, people, like, I listen to Dan Orlovsky and I listen to these people, and obviously last year it didn't look like Stafford really lost a step. But, like, you are right. Like, at some point, that's not going to keep coming. And I know people talked about that with Brady. That's a different fucking animal, obviously.
Yeah.
Guys fall off, and at some point that's going to happen. What is the Stafford issue right now? Is it he can't squeeze the ball? What is it? Something with that, or is that someone else that I read about?
It's his back, actually.
His back.
It's even worse. I won't say it's worse, but I mean, back injuries
At
that
37, yeah.
age, they don't go away, dude.
No, and
So,
you got to take into account, bro. He's not getting hit right now. Like, he's participating in camp. That's a good sign. He's able to throw the ball. It's not bothering him, whatever. He's not playing in the preseason, and he's not being touched in practice. So what happens when that first hit comes from the blind side and digs that shoulder pad into that back?
the latest report from McVay was that he was a full participant at practice this week and has looked like the stud we know. But once again, man, it's fine. Like, I'm not doubting that he can come out and look like a stud. It's just that what if you're in the middle of a game against, the Seahawks on the road and you need this to win the division and his back gets all fucking tight.
Yeah.
And then what do? And I don't know. Jimmy G is okay, but
Jimmy G comes in and takes the reins.
What does he look like the last few stops for him? You know what I mean? Like, he's just doing like a model tour to get all the wives of the other players all horny and shit. I don't even know. But it'll be interesting to see what it's kind of, I guess what gives me those vibes is like Aaron Rodgers, and it's not like Aaron Rodgers hasn't dealt with like injuries per se. He had the Achilles, but it's like if Aaron Rodgers can look pedestrian,
right? Matthew Stafford,
then why wouldn't Stafford be able to? But maybe.
No, I do agree with you, bro.
We'll see.
I agree. Let's get into this fantasy draft.
Yes,
I had the 1-1 yesterday in the AFC West, so Scotty gets the 1-1, the first overall pick in the NFC West. And like I said, I'm writing these down. We're keeping track, and we will post them all to socials, next week, so you guys can vote on them and have some fun with it.
Man, there's some good options here. Like, I feel like there is no clear number one pick. How do you feel about that? You don't have to tell me who you would pick.
No, I agree. I think the way I'm trying to maneuver this division is looking for advantages at specific positions. Like, it might not be the best player in the division, but if there's a position out there where I can get, by far the best one in the division and you're left with scraps and vice versa, then you kind of look there.
There's one guy I really would want to take. See, and I just saw another guy. No, okay, never mind. All right.
I'm wondering if it's the same that we're thinking, but go ahead.
I'm gonna go Devin Witherspoon.
All right.
Yeah.
I respect it. All right.
It's tough, man.
I'm going to take give me Christian McCaffrey.
I feel that. Yeah, he definitely crossed my mind. So, let's see here. Let me get... I'm actually going to take Buddha.
Buddha Baker?
Yeah.
Buddha. All right. So this is where I was looking 1-1 when I was saying advantages. Problem is, like, I'm wondering if we're on the same page here because there is a young man with the Rams that is just as good. I'm going to take Fred Warner.
Just as good. He's not just as good. I know what you mean, though.
It's a viable option where it's not a great disparity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking for pick one of one. And then I saw Verse's name, and I was like, how much of a drop-off?
Right, it's not. Yeah, exactly. Because I almost just made that mistake with the tight end position as well.
Somebody had to pick him, Yeah. So, I feel you. And the tight end position is interesting as well.
Because I was thinking there's a clear gap, and then I'm like, oh, wait a second. No, there's not. There's a young man somewhere else that's not. That's in that conversation as well.
Well, let me Damn, this is actually really hard. Let me get Leonard Williams.
All right. All right.
D-tackle. He had 11 sacks last year for Seattle. Former Giant, right?
Yes.
Leonard Williams.
Assuming that this list is health, I'm going to take Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Matthew Stafford and Christian McCaffrey. My God, please stay healthy.
Let me go ahead and snag Puka Nacua.
Good pick. Good pick. All right. On that note, I'm going to combat you with Devontae Adams.
Fair enough. I'm going to take this guy just because I just want to have him on my team. And I'm going to go with Trey McBride. I understand it's very close between him and Kittle, but I feel like this season, there could be a little bit of separation there. So
I feel you. All right, give me Marvin Harrison Jr.
I like it. I guess I'll just take Seattle's secondary. Tyreek Woolen, the other corner. Looking across, they got a lot of youth at that position in this division. I feel like.
Yeah, they do. All right, give me the former Eagle. I'll go with Josh Sweat.
I was contemplating him or Leonard Williams. Damn, man. What is I can't see the 49ers depth.
I know.
Oh,
I can go on the roster. It's back?
It's back now. Yeah, I'm gonna take Bosa as my other lineman.
Wow.
Yeah, I was thinking is he a fucking linebacker? But he is listed as a defensive end.
Because I didn't look at the fucking depth chart because it's not up here. God
yeah, it's not. It's up now. If you refresh, and I just saw it.
Dude, people are probably watching this draft go by if they're watching right now. Well, when it's up, and they're just gonna be like, "Someone want to take him?" God damn it, man! Because I couldn't. It's still not even up for me. I got to look at their roster. So stupid.
I swear it's just him, Kittle, and
Warner.
that you would really want. Maybe a corner.
I'm not sure. Give me Kobe Turner from the Rams.
That's a good one. I don't think we're competing anymore for players, so
no, I think they're all
I'll take Jared Verse, linebacker.
All right, I'll take George Kittle.
Trying to think. I'll take Kyron Williams, running back.
All right, now this should be fun. Give me Give me Cam Curl, safety.
I'll go Kyler Murray, quarterback.
All right, now I need my corners, and you have both the Seattles. That's no good.
I know. There's a couple like all right ones, and I checked over at Arizona, right? Because I am not familiar. I'm not too familiar with their corners.
Me neither.
But I think Will Johnson is a rookie, and then Max Melton.
Yeah, he is.
Is Max Melton a rookie too?
I think so. Yeah, it's his preseason. Yeah, both second rounders.
Max Milton is a second year guy. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, he played. I just looked at his stats. He played last year.
All right, well, give me Will Johnson.
Go with the upside.
Go with the unknown here because I don't know any of them.
I think I just have wide receiver left. I'm gonna go JSN.
All right, I'll take. Dear God, I'll take Quentin Lake.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one. I forgot about him.
All right. Very even.
Yeah, I was going to say that, bro, because you got CMC and Staff at the helm. Then you got Adams and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, I would say my offense is better, but your defense is crushing mine. I mean, I have Fred Warner, but both your linemen are better. Your safety's better, and your corners blow mine out of the water.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the folks think.
How people value what people value, Scotty. Defense or offense. Man.
It's interesting.
But all right, man. That is going to do our NFC West preview. We have the AFC East and the NFC East wrapping up with the Birds next week. So we'll be getting all these out to you guys by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So we'll have over a week before the regular season kicks off to get into our top 10 list, power rankings, and a couple other fun segments we have planned for you guys here on Turf Talk. These are pre-recorded, obviously. So if you did watch this live and you're like, why aren't these guys answering? We're not seeing them. But we are live every Sunday morning during the regular season and Thursday nights during the regular season, recapping things, getting into gambling, fantasy football, all that good stuff. So make sure to follow us on Twitter at DSM_media is where you can find us. And most importantly, make sure to check out the Turf Talk YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, share it with your friends, family, and any other football fans that you may know could enjoy the content. For myself, for Scotty, and for DSM Media, have a great rest of your week.